Hello, and welcome back to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. It is 2024, and we have brought in a new year. And we wanted to just get started today talking a little bit more about the new year and bringing in new resolutions. I call them resolutions. Some people just call them solutions. Some people call them other things. A lot of people don't like using the word resolution, but here we are. It is 2024. So today, like I said, want to just get started talking about some New Year's, the things that we do when we bring the new year in. Tremaine, can you think of some things that we typically talk about when the new year starts and we're getting into the newness of everything? Any thoughts?
I mean, you pretty much brought it up yourself, resolutions, other things of that nature. Everybody's making trying to become better better than they were the year before.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. One of the things I wanted to actually mention, of course, is that in December, I dropped a book, my first publication, Fragile Brokenness. And that book is actually out now on the market on Amazon. That book can be purchased. And I've also completed a few companion journals to go along with my book. But some of the companion journals that I did create are talking about mental health wellness. And it's a mental health wellness journal and really talking about the journey of being in a great place and trying to motivate yourself, trying to promote, positive mental health and physical well-being in different areas of your life and over your whole entire life, really. But one of the things that I have encouraged a lot of individuals to do is to start a journaling routine during the new year, along with many of those new year, new you type workout routines that people kind of get into and start working out and going to the gym on a daily basis. So one of the things that I like to encourage people to do is really think about where they ended the year in 2023 and where they want to pick up in 2024 and where they would like to be come the end of 2024 into 2025. So again, I always tell people we got 365 days to do all this again and, get on the ball and figure out what we can do and how we can motivate ourselves to be in the moment and motivate ourselves to do what we need to do to feel our best, of course. Another thing that we have also come about, I also created the 31 days coping and depression, coping and combating depression journal. So with that journal, that's another one of those kind of guided journaling where individuals again are going to be definitely taking care of themselves and looking at different things like self-care, self-empowerment, definitely focusing on their strength and their confidence. Again, the journals that I do have are available via our website, www.insightful-options.com. But a lot of these journaling prompts really put us in a good place to get started and be all we can be for the new year and be all we can be in general for our overall mental health, physical health, social health. When we're considering just our health in general, we just really want to be in a good place. But starting with journaling is something that I have been prescribing to a lot of my patients and individuals that I come in contact with. Tremaine, are there any things that you can think of? In terms of when we are, getting on the good foot in life and starting to do things differently.
In terms of getting on the good foot, I mean, it's just getting up and the thing is that you want to get better at, you want to, have consistency in it, of course.
Of course, yeah.
So, like if you want to go and work out, it's like make time that you're going to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that sounds amazing, actually. It's like coming up with a routine and having a quote unquote regular routine. And I tell people too to take them in small chunks, because creating a routine doesn't have to be something you do every single day. It could be something you do every other day
Yeah,
or on a weekly basis.
it's more consistency is key. It's not that you should do it every day. It's just
Hmm.
getting into the pattern of doing it at
Hmm.
all.
Yeah.
Make sure that you get like if you're going to the gym, go to the gym. If you're gonna get you're trying to eat healthier, buy healthier food so you don't have to
Hmm.
worry about, oh, I got snacks and stuff in other places. Then if it's
Hmm.
not there, you don't have it.
Oh, makes sense. Totally, totally. And that's another thing that people do a lot of too, is getting on the health good foot as far as what they're eating. That you brought up a good point there. People do say they've stopped eating sugar for a certain amount of time in the new year, or they've stopped eating different type of dairy products or meats or and things like that. So yeah, the new year comes with a new you. So again, just talking about all the new things that is to come in 2024. So what we'll do is we'll go to a commercial break and we'll be back in a few minutes. But what we're going to talk about when we come back is going to be really around the idea of what can be done to make those changes for the next year. What are some things that can be implemented and put into individuals' lives to create a new year, new you? Okay. All right. So, with that, we'll go to commercial break and we'll be back after these messages. Hi, this is Dr. Latasha McElwain, and I would like to introduce my first book. The name of my first book is Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. My key phrase is, when life gave me lemons, I gave life a doctor. I hope this would be an inspiring read for everyone, with inspiring experiences and heavy experiences that will bring about the importance of being self-aware, dealing with traumas, and being focused on your mental health wellness. The proof is in the journey. I hope you enjoy my book, Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. Sales begin December 2023. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor in Sound. So today we are still following up on our conversation, talking about new year, new you, and all the things that people get out there and want to focus on for the new year. One of the things I wanted to talk about also is that in 2023, I brought forward into 2024 another journal that talked about healthy boundaries. So with the healthy boundary journal, basically it's the same thing that we would be doing with all the journals, basically promoting that and encouraging to have that positive and maintain that positive mental health and physical well-being overall. One of the things that I did with this journal is we talked about going into the different weeks. So I wanted this journal to be a little bit different than my 31-day journal or any of my other journals that's just, day by day. This one I wanted to go week by week, and it's over a 2-month period. It's actually week 1 through week 8. And it gives you 4 weeks to kind of talk about different things like personal boundaries. Of course, it is talking about creating healthy boundaries. So it talks about personal boundaries, gives you a week to kind of talk about it, think about it, have conversations about it. If you're in therapy, these are really good tools to use, thinking about creating new year, new you. Week 2 talks about knowing your limits. And with knowing your limits, you got about a week or so to kind of dance through what it's all about getting to know yourself and knowing your limits. Week 3, we'll start talking about knowing your value. So you have to know your value. Getting to that point in life is kind of one of those ones that, a lot of people struggle with. I know I can mention, struggling with knowing my value at some points in my career, in my just growing up in general. Week 4 talks about listening to your emotions and being present in what you're feeling. And at the end of week 4, as you're talking about all those things, you will have a 30-day reflection to look back over the last 4 weeks at how things are going. So it'll talk about how the last 30 days have gone. It'll talk about what you're grateful for. It'll talk about your highlights. It'll talk about things that challenges that you had. It'll talk about what you want to improve on, what you want to do more of, what do you want to do less of. And then it also goes into setting up for success for the next month, talking about things you want to start, things you want to continue, and things you want to stop doing. So I think that's a really great starter point for people when we're talking about, like I said, new year, new you. And then when we go into week 5 of the 8-week journal, you'll talk about having self-respect. So be able to have that self-respect for yourself and developing that a little bit more and having conversations around that. And then week 6 talks about having respect for others. And that's another big part of just, developing and growing in a healthier way and being able to be respectful for, again, yourself and for others. Week 7 talks about being assertive. And I always tell people, sometimes when we're being assertive, people take it as we're being, aggressive or whatever the case may be, but we can be assertive and get our point across. And we have to straighten people sometimes, let them know that we're not being aggressive. We are being assertive. I can definitely say as a African-American woman in corporate American type jobs, that's one of the things I have to keep reminding my colleagues that I'm not being aggressive with you, not one bit. I'm being totally assertive and saying what it is that I feel. So that's another thing, is just getting to that point where you understand that you're being assertive and being able to convey that to others. Week 8, consider the long view. And that's basically talking about considering the long term of things that you're dealing with in life and how to make the most appropriate steps with those things. And then it goes back to, because it's another 4 weeks, you reflect for 30 days again, what has happened, what's good, what's going on, and where you are, and things you want to keep, things you don't want to keep, things you want to get rid of. But it gives you about 2 months of the new year that would start you starting to develop some healthy boundaries. So it's 8 weeks altogether. So that, again, that's another one of our journals that I created in 2023 that I'm bringing forward in 2024 and offering. Jermaine, any thoughts with like creating some of those healthy boundaries or other things that you think that people definitely try to look forward to as they're coming into the new year?
Well, creating boundaries, I mean, knowing knowing that you don't have to be friends or do things with everyone is probably for the best, because mostly people try to please other people a lot and try to be there for you try to be there for your friends, but sometimes they hang out with friends that you don't really care for,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you take yourself out of that equation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to hang out with that friend on the times where a person you don't necessarily have fun with is present. You just take yourself out of the situation and see them later.
Exactly. So yeah, I definitely like that, because that's something to think about. A lot of things too, when we're talking about new year, new you, just thinking about these emotions. That's one of the things I wanted to jump into, is how we're feeling. And with me having the coping and combating with depression journal, it really talks to people in regards of, I have phrases and I have different words in there to give people an idea of things that can help them to combat, and things that can help them, cope with depression a little bit better. One of the first ones is smile for day 1, and then talking about smiling and talking about the thoughts of smiling. And there's a little, of course, saying to go along with it of what a smile is. The next one is being cheerful. So a person that's being cheerful, noticeably happy and optimistic. And those are like just a few things to think about when we're talking about a person, that's needing to work through their state of depression, making good decisions. There's a little snippet about that. Being hopeful, there's a snippet about that. Joy, having creative activities. People don't think about that sometimes. Considering mood stabilization. That could be mood stabilization in you doing things to stabilize your mood or to put you in a better state. Or it could also be where you are actually, utilizing per se the medications that you've been prescribed. That's another thing I tell people, sometimes you have to take something if it's prescribed to you and you are working through your depression or your mental health issues, then a mood stabilizer is something that might be there for you. And sometimes people might need that extra cushion to get them to a better state. Um, Positive communications, that's another one to think about when we're talking about coping and managing and dealing with depression. Meditation is another big one. I always run the meditation, of course, but meditation is one of those big ones that do give you time to train your brain and train your attention level and your awareness to be able to achieve more mental clarity. So yeah, a lot of that to think about, and then talk therapy. So it's a lot of good stuff to think about. Just creating thoughts when it comes down to your food intake, your practicing of mindfulness. A lot of good things to think about when we're talking about new year, new you, and having some goals and things of that nature. So, what we'll do now is we'll go to a commercial break and we'll be back. When we come back, we're going to talk about more of the goal setting activities that come along with new year, new you. We'll be back after these messages. Dr. Latasha McElwain's professional consulting services. Dr. Latasha McElwain has become an elite and esteemed professional in her field of counseling psychology. She provides consultation in counseling and business practices, as well as providing supervision, consultation to professionals in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Please reach out to drlatashamcElwain.com 704-492-1105. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. And now we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. We're nearing the end of the show, but what we want to talk about is goals and goal setting. So one of the things that I wanted to just kind of share is the whole part about goals. So this year, the biggest goal I think that I have for my career is talking about our international trip to Belize, our health and wellness retreat that's going to happen May 21st through May 27th, 2024. With that adventure that we're going to go on, that international trip, it's going to be something where I am going to be spreading my wings and really focusing on the retreat aspect of things. And with the retreat aspect of things, we are going to be journaling during the retreat. I have special journals that would be given to all of the attendees or the participants in the journaling sessions. We'll also be doing our stretch and meditation, which basically is from our Dr. Dream Dancer studio. And that's what I'll be doing with the participants as well. And then there'll be other activities as well. There'll be definitely other activities for individuals to be able to invest in themselves and be able to allow themselves the opportunity to involve themselves in a deep, relaxing type of journey for their not only their overall health, but breaking it down into their overall health and wellness, mental health, physical health, social health, financial health, all kinds of health pieces in there that we want people to really be, concerned about and be willing to take care of. So that's one of our biggest goals that we have for this year, for this year, 2024. And I think this year is going to be amazing with new activities that I am wanting to incorporate into my career. So that's one of the things that I have going on. But I want to say in the midst of creating that particular goal and all the other goals that I have brought forward to 2024, it's been small small chunks that I've been doing to get these particular things in place. It wasn't something that was all of a sudden, boom, here it is. It was definitely a process of me planning for it over time and actually thinking the thought of what I would like to do and then putting it into some planning motion. And right now we're still considered in the planning phases of it. And then, by the time May come, then that's when I'm going to be able to execute this particular event. And I'm looking quite forward to it. But with that, we're also going to have some more events this year with our Green McElwain Foundation. We'll be having high tea. We'll have the society event. High tea will come up in April, June, and September of 2024. And we are definitely looking for this year for it to be bigger and better. We have a nice little gallery on our website, greenmcilwainfoundation.org website. We have a cute gallery where people can see what we actually did at the high tea for 2023. And again, like I said, this year will be our second annual one. So with that being said, Tremaine, give me some of the things that you're going into this year or that you're looking forward to do. I know with a lot of your producing and a lot of your business areas or whatever, what are some of the things that you are looking at goal-wise for 2024 that you're working on and building up to?
Just, overall health and things of that nature. Trying to make sure, the producing thing is what I'm doing, but not to let it overshadow me as a person.
Oh, yeah.
And not, get too caught up in it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a big part of understanding that big thing when you're growing a business, because I can definitely say for myself that it has been struggles earlier on in the years, but coming up with those goals to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of what you can take care of, knowing when to say when and when too much is too much and when enough is enough. A lot of that comes with, of course, creating those healthy boundaries for yourself. So good deal. Do you have any specifics of how you kind of, when you know you got some deadlines or you got some goals you want to accomplish, is there any way that you look at things? Like I look at things in small chunks before I get to the big event happening. What are some of the things that you kind of do?
I take my time with it and, try to, really, I don't marinate on it. I just, I sit down and, I try not to take, like you say, don't take it all at once or anything. I take it piece by piece
Mm-hmm.
and, I try to take my time with it and not to get overly concerned about time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to, rush something out and then it not be good or it land wrong because you were trying to do so much so quickly.
Absolutely. I think that's a big thing. And I think we all should be mindful of that as we're coming into, the whole, I guess, area now where we're in the environment and we're definitely feeling like, because it's the new year, let's create a new me to go with the new year. So with that being said, a lot of people are really realizing kind of like I tell people the rubber is hitting the road and people are realizing that there are certain things they have to stop doing, some things they have to start doing, and they have to really focus on their wellness and their health and taking care of themselves from all aspects of life. So with that being said, we are happy that you guys came back to join us for this new year, 2024, and that you guys have decided to continue to join us here on our Friday mornings at 8:30 a.m. We got options with the Doctor and Son, and we hope that you guys will tune in next week when we're back. Have a great one. We got options with the Doctor and Son, a family conversation discussing mental health and wellness topics weekly with a variety of special guest appearances. Join us every Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. on www.wdrbmedia.com.